one game with the Lilia. He's played a game with the Brand as well, so still options there. But the Tristana instantly locked in for Vicla.
So you now have the question of largely Corki or Talia, and it's going to be the Corki. Thanks for answering that very quickly, LNG. Once again, really fast drafts coming out. Now LNG have removed the Ziggs from potentially Tristana Ziggs, which is something that LNG used to play all the time last year. Don't want to give over the double Demolitionists.
Ziggs also a pick that Gala has really been liking so far. This split already got 2 games on it, and to be fair, his mechanics on the pick, like the bomb hit rate, pretty high from Gala so far from what we've seen. We'll see what support is going to go alongside that. I'm anticipating probably Leona. It's probably going to be the old Leona Nautilus trade. And then game 3, we'll see what else happens. That's assuming we get a game 3. So Nautilus locked in alongside the Tristana. Could go for an AP jungler here, but instead they look towards the bot lane.
I mean, you could have gone for the Senna, but they go for the Kai'Sa instead. This is an Assum real comfort pick. He loves this champion. And as he said, as we come through to later patches, I'm going to see a lot more Shiv Kai'Sa, Shiv Zeri. Apparently those two champions are really, really strong with that. Leona, you predicted that coming through. It makes a lot of sense with the Ziggs, but now we need to see what's going to happen with the double diving AD carries from RA. We could have a very different style of composition from RA in regards to not having long-range follow-up, but the follow-up being the actual bodies of the champions themselves flying onto a target.
It does feel like dive is the big word for RA so far. LNG, they're banning away some of these top laners. I wonder what Zika is going to go for here. Whether he goes blind here. With the 2 top lane bans, it does lead me to believe perhaps it will be a blind pick, but maybe you want to prioritize an AP jungler, perhaps get it before RA can grab theirs.
I mean, you could just lock up the Skadi yourself. That's the easy thing, isn't it? Just lock that on 4. Just say, right, do you want to play Mordekaiser? You can't play the TF, the Rumble's gone, so you've only got one of those lane counters in there. It'd be pretty easy at that point. It wouldn't necessarily fit with, like, the huge damage, and that's why they go towards the Jax instead. So, Xiaoxu, what do you answer this? Renekton to the Jax is somewhat of a skill matchup, can be quite hard. There aren't that many good matchups left in this. You go Kennen, maybe. Kennen could work.
Kennen certainly could work. We've seen a little bit of rumble from Xiaoxu, but whether you want to play that with Jax is a different question.
It's also banned, which makes it really hard to play.
True. That would make that one difficult to log in. It will be the Kennen in the end for Xiaoxu. Lots of damage, lots of dive. And Xiaohao, you already played this, buddy. You're not allowed to play the Graves again. Yeah. Suddenly realizes that, I think. But still, AD damage jungler looks like the name of the game.
And anything which can dive in with the rest of the team, I think makes a lot of sense. You want everything to fly forward. I would love to see it. I would much prefer to see the Vi if they were going to go for a diving one. The Xin Zhao is much easier to play in the early game too, though. So now, RA, everything about this team is everyone kind of diving forwards onto the same pixel and obliterating one target. And WeiWei picks up the Ivern. Now, this is a fantastic conversation to have. LPL does not play Ivern. WeiWei is like the one player that has played this. One of the things when we went to MSI, and no, I think it was Top Esports lost a game or two to the Ivern pick at MSI. There was a conversation around, LPL just doesn't play that kind of champion. WeiWei does, though, and this is a great draft to show, actually, if you're going to hyper dive into an Ivern, you're going to get slapped. I really think this is a good last pick here for the jungle of WeiWei.
I feel like LNG have a decent amount of ability to withstand a dive with the Jax Counter-Strike, the Ivern being able to protect his carries. Ziggs as well can be difficult sometimes with the amount of zone control. You know, if you get past the bombs, he's very easy to kill in that situation. But the Satchel Charge, the Hextech Minefield as well, can make it difficult to get onto that back line. We'll see how they will fare as we head towards this second game. I love that, you know, LNG very much going towards a style that they can play a little bit slower, they can control the map. Whereas on the other side, where Atom, they're going forwards. They're hitting that. I'd say they're hitting that W key. It's not really how League of Legends work, but they're right-clicking towards the enemies. They're A and then left-clicking.
That's the one. There is no retreat, only glorious advance, and they need to have a big turnaround from game 1. They had themselves that early lead. We were worried about what happened as soon as they threw that one player away in mid lane and the game fell away from them. They must close out this game, otherwise it seems very likely they will have lost that shot at top 2 in this group. It would have been unexpected, but it would be a huge result for them to turn it around.
Just a bit of awkward silence there as we hear the pings come on through, hoping for some gyros.
It's a moments of silence and reverence for the giant Ari in the sky, which I, of course, 100% approve of. I think we should have more Ari skyboxes. It would make my die a lot better. No, this is good for me. It's like this is like my cultural exploration. No, something like that. It's like my what's the thing where like you have like your pets and you give them like their time to like explore the world when you increase their world. What's that? What? Not. No, Ari in the Sky is not my walkies. There's that kind of like, I don't know, look, words fail me. There's that kind of time where like you kind of like make sure your pets have like something which isn't just walking and eating, where you give them some kind of entertainment. Look, this is just going nowhere. My words have failed me. But yeah, that's a thing. Ari in the Sky, that's your takeaway from that.
Are you on about like doing agility challenges with a poodle because it's a gun dog and it's too clever to
or
just
like
be
giving
inside?
them puzzles and stuff like that? You know, when you give them like something to like work out so they're mentally stimulated or whatever.
Okay. So what you're saying is Ari splash art mentally stimulates you. Got it. Right, okay.
No,
moving forward, let's talk about League of Legends. We've got Xiaohao started on the bottom side.
Oh, God.
WeiWei, he's playing Ivan, so we need to keep a close eye on his pathing as he moves around the map, including scout trading, as always. That's not going to lead to too much. I will say, this matchup in the mid lane, the Corki versus Tristana, we've seen a lot of nothing in this matchup. We've also seen quite a few solo kills in this matchup, both good and bad solo kills. So
we've seen Shanks. We have seen Shanks do a great many things on that. And the thing is that Vicla, his best champion arguably is the Tristana. This champion is really, really good for him. And felt like towards the end of spring when RA kind of picked up a couple of unexpected wins from how poor their spring went. A lot of that was on Vicla, on the Tristana. And I think him personally as a player recovered a lot of his reputation by playing this champion too.
I love this from WeiWei as he's pathing through, just drops a shield on Scout, allows for a heavy trade to go on through. Unfortunately, it pretty much was just an even trade, even with the jungle intervention, so not really ideal, but just going for a reset there from Scout. And we'll be able to jump back in. Got a cult, TP's back into lane, wants to stack that ASAP, and WeiWei moving straight up to the top side.
He's just doing the same thing as last game.
Yeah, exactly the same as game number one. Just walks into the top side this time around. Zika gets a free gap close, jumps in, flashes forward, and Xiaoxu is gone. But Zika might just go down as well. And Xiaohao opts out of the 1v1. It's a kill for each jungler.
Yeah, Xiaohao ran out of cooldowns. He'd stacked his Conqueror and he's like, well, I don't really want to wait until I have to get my cooldowns back up to try and kill WeiWei, but walks away with a very important kill. Even things up on that top side. Xiaoxu losing flash. Of course, that's going to be a bit of a pain. Good interrupt there by the Nautilus hook. Not going to quite get the all in.
Nice bomb from Gala on 2 as well. Importantly, Zika TP'd up top. Xiaoxu didn't have to because the wave is pushing towards him. So Xiaoxu will have TP advantage. He'll also have a monster minion wave pushing his way that he can theoretically, I don't know if he'll really be able to freeze with that many minions, to be honest, but he'll have command of that lane and probably a CS advantage coming out of this.
He's going to be really happy with that one, considering how that play started. And, you know, WeiWei, credit for him to really get some good opportunities, but that top lane, it could have been blown open so much more. Xiaohao just managed to read that play. WeiWei and Xiaohao, both of them, last year, were so good at their respective roles, and they've really matched up well today, I feel like, in the first 2 games. I think that, you know, WeiWei on the Karthus, very different role compared to that first game on the Karthus. But I think both of them, I really want to see what can happen in this jungle matchup. It feels like both of them have such high potential pedigree, even though their last split or 2 hasn't shown that.
I feel like WeiWei going from Karthus to Ivern is kind of like Ivern's lore, right? Where he was some great warlord and then got cursed and turned into a friendly tree. Yeah, it feels somewhat, maybe poetic's not quite the word, but feels
it's an allegory or something, or a metaphor. It's like poetry. It rhymes. Gala gets a knockback. Gala, again, you talked about this earlier. Gala's actually a really good Ziggs player. You know, you think of him as the Kai'Sa player, as, you know, huge player of the Jinx and the Aphelios in years past. His Ziggs has been really, really good, though, and it's one of the things which LNG leveraged off of really well last split. Gonna find junglers fighting each other again. But WeiWei gets the mark, gets the smite, gets the camp.
Yeah, when smite's up, it's really hard to contest an Ivan for a camp. Xiaohao gonna drop a deep ward. Perhaps I'll get away with that because you don't have to fight the red buff as Ivan, so you might not go into that brush. Assum stuck underneath the tower. Gala's just TP'd back in, so he's full mana. This becomes incredibly difficult.
Wait, he just satcheled him away from the cannon! He just sat... Wow! Gala, that is not okay! Satcheling someone away from a cannon minion, that's just mean!
This is a competitive sport. I think meanness is allowed when it comes to gameplay. Jwei left alone. See you later, buddy. Hung still going to be tagging the tower. He survived for a while, but a while's just not long enough, unfortunately. That's going to be a kill for Gala, and yet more minions denied, yet more plates going his way. This is a big Ziggs already.
And it's a really not so big Kai'Sa on the other side. The bonus for RA is they pushed in a top side, they pushed on a mid. I'm surprised Vicla didn't get a single play. Tristana normally gets a free play every time you roam away from that lane on a reset. I think Scout was using that time where everyone was focused on bot lane to be away from mid lane, but no plates were given over in mid lane. But so yeah, LNG on the whole really walking away with a huge advantage. You need Kai'Sa to be ahead of the game. Kai'Sa from behind the curve is not really a great AD carry because she's still going to dive in. She just won't do damage if she doesn't have the items.
Yeah, it's press the attack as well, so you're expecting AD Kai'Sa here, not the AP variant, although it's possible you go for kind of the hybrid later on and go into
you go for Halo
AP.
Blades on the other one, yes.
But the full AP version is going to be the Halo Blades. We'll see what his build is going to end up being later on. But honestly, I'm not sure the AP Kai'Sa would work that well with Ivan, because Ivan's just going to block off the damage anyway. I guess that's true for AD Kai'Sa too. I mean, it's true for all champions.
So, what I have to say, when it comes to LPL, we typically just... Hang on, we're going to get a fight down here. There's flashes here, but well, we're going to get the fight anyway. Go, Daisy!
Assum takes a couple of hits from Daisy, and that's about it.
Oh.
But we are just going to deny yet more minions. More minions die.
It's like Gala had level 6 and Hun could have just thrown himself into the play. And yeah, this is the kind of point where it feels like LNG can hard force whenever they want. Again, feels like a much more proactive early game from LNG again. Game 1, much faster, loads of kills per minute, comparative to what we normally have seen from LNG. So it's good for them to kind of speed up the course of that game. One of the problems with Ivan, not great at killing Dragon. Doesn't really kill objectives that quickly, needs his teammates to help him with that one. Means that RA did get the top grubs. They are going to get themselves an entrance towards that as well.
Xiaoxu all in on the top side. Zika, not quite respecting it. Goes for Grandmaster's Might. Flash available for both top laners. I don't think Xiaoxu will chase too hard for that one, but continues to leverage that advantage in the top side that he has for himself. Vicla and Scout now trading in the mid lane. Scout going pretty far forward for that one, winning the trade heavily. RA trying to finish this Drake off. Hung doesn't want any of it. Dives in, bomb across the team as well. But they've gone so deep onto Scout here. The bomb's ticking. He walks away. He keeps himself alive. They don't find the kill. Vicla now diving further forwards, trying to chase for a little bit more. Shields come out from the Ivan, but Hung, is he tanky enough? Flashes away. How is this still going with no kills? Gala chasing with the bombs now as WeiWei looks for a root. Can he find the root? Gala, yes, he can, and the whole team dives on in.
LNG walk away with a one fight towards the bot side of the map. It didn't need top laners to intervene. Zuka teleported back towards top side. And actually, you can see that Xiaoxu without that ulti can get a little bit blocked out by the Jax if he gets on top of them. But still, you can see that in that fight, Gala really coming online already. Going to get more gold from the bot side of the map, gets even more plates. And yeah, this is going to become a bit of an issue. LNG have managed to make sure that their bot lane is so far in their advantage.
It's a good time to be Gala, isn't it? In this game, it is a good time to be playing this Ziggs. He's already got 2 plates as well. Might just be able to get a third there with his passive, but my goodness, let's take another look, because this went on for so long.
Yeah, it did, but the start of it was, I thought, pretty good repositioning by Assum. Just get away from the Ziggs, get doing damage somewhere else. Very surprised that Scout lived. I think just, you know, a flash for an extra auto would have done it, but the Buster Shot sends him to safety. Vicla, a rare miscalculation on the Tristana. Means that the opening to the fight is not as powerful as RA would have wanted. They could have traded the damage from the Ziggs ult for the kill onto the Corkin. They would have left happy. Then they just kind of overstayed, looking for something that they couldn't really afford with the cooldowns they had left.
And I feel like we got to see a mini version there of what this LNG comp is capable of later on in the game. Now, granted, RA will have more upfront damage later on in the game, so maybe it's harder to survive. But if you're targeting onto Hung, and WeiWei's there to drop the shields, the Eclipse will be in play as well, then suddenly it becomes very, very difficult to finish that kill off. Gala and Scout are just firing rockets and bombs from the other side that entire time. It becomes very difficult to chase anyone down.
Not to interrupt, but I remember the word. It's mental enrichment. That's what I was thinking. That's just one little update.
So it's like Portal, basically.
Yes.
Basically, the whole game Portal is just enrichment.
Yeah, but you know, this might color me as a heathen. I've still never played Portal, and I know, and Portal 2, I've heard it's one of those again legendary games that everyone should play once in their life. You should really experience that. I just haven't gotten around to it. Gala gets the turret, the satchel. This is again one of the great things about playing towards Ziggs on strong side. Kills towers really, really quickly, and LNG really starting to steamroll now.
One thing I will say, because I don't think we're going to see a fight anytime soon here, Portal, one of those games that it is a little old now, but because of the way that the game plays, it's fundamentally a puzzle game. It doesn't age, you know? Like, the fact that it's a little older really has not impacted how good it is in any way. So
that's kind of one of the reasons I really love a lot of the Legends of Zelda games like this. We're probably going to see a fight now.
Yeah.
So see if they can escape this tricky situation. Puzzle game for them.
Cleanse is on cooldown. Zika easily follows it up. Gala steals the kill from a million miles away. That CC chain was nuts, by the way.
I mean, we were talking about Portal, we were talking about Legend of Zelda. I mean, Gala's playing Bomberman, and he is very, very good at that game, apparently. He's going to go towards this top turret, very good at killing plates again. If RA can't stop Ziggs hitting this tower, this might be a lot of extra plates going over towards Gala.
Jwei's been under a tower against these guys before, twice this game, and he's died both times. Let's see if he realizes he needs to get out of dodge. Nice little sidestep from Gala means he can just continue to wail away on both the tower and the opponents underneath it. Oh, man, Ziggs is so oppressive in the right hands.
Yeah, and you can see every time he's casting the abilities, he's just getting to the point where his fast-use passive comes back online. It's the reason why Ziggs is utterly disgusting late game. Back in Season 4, you'd actually see Lichbane Ziggs because he'd throw out his passive auto, throw all of his skills, get his Lichbane and the passive back up again, and the tower would already be dead. It's similar kind of stuff now. Just get so much AP. Towers don't live. Look at the amount of tower gold he's getting from the plate. This is exactly why they rotated him around. I don't think they're going to get the full turret, because I think the wave clear's there. But they've already got first tower, 5 plates bot, 2 plates on top side. Gala's really, really fed.
I think Assum is just abandoning ship. I think they are going to finish this tower, you know, unless Gala decides to back away.
Are they looking for a big play? Maybe they're looking for a play mid instead.
Scout, the target here, flash forwards from Vicla is a bit of a flub. Not the greatest Tristana game we've ever seen from him.
Scout doesn't have flash. Assum only has rank 1 ultimate. That's the reason why that play doesn't work out. Vicla doesn't know how close Assum is. Because if he gets that ultimate, then actually what you see is... Hang on, Gala might even get the full turret. Is he going to get another passive auto?
Yes,
can he get it in the next 5 seconds? If he can get it, that's going to be the satch. 10 plates, 2 turrets, just before the timer comes out. They abandoned...
He's 3,500 gold ahead!
They abandoned ship to look for a play mid lane, messed that up because Assum only has the rank 1 Kai'Sa ultimate range for his ultimate, can't follow up, and Gala just goes into the stratosphere. RA, what are you doing?
This is obscene. This is absolutely obscene. He's on 2 items at 14 minutes. Like, I know this is what Ziggs does, but it's very rare that you get to see Ziggs do this well, you know? It's very often you just see the Ziggs kind of denied a bit or just takes one tower.
Word.
He is taking over the entire map.
And like, the only thing which can save you from Ziggs is a Xiaoxu ultimate. That's legitimately the only thing which can stop you from dying. And that doesn't even save your teammates. And this is a big problem now, because if RA are trying to set up for their big flanks, they're trying to dive in. If they hit the minefield, if someone gets CC'd first by Hung, one of your combos is gone. It's just dead. And that's a big problem, because we're going to get to the point shortly where Scout can also carry the back end of a team fight. So if you end up losing 1 or 2 people on the engage because Gala blasts you, even if you get Gala, Zucker and Scout can probably carry with Ivan shields too. So, good luck. I wish you the very best. Try to get through this composition.
I mean, it's always possible for LNG to throw. We saw that literally in the last version of this series, so never going to quite count RA out here, but my goodness. Do you want to know the best bit? Like that 3,500 gold from the 10 plates plus the 2 kills, etc. He's also got first strike, so every single time he's sieging here, he's just like farming 30, 40 gold every time he lands a bomb, and he doesn't seem to miss those bombs either as they go into the tower. It's going to be Herald started up now by LNG with their infinite amounts of prio.
Oh no, giving the Herald to the Ziggs that's already just demolished all of your towers. That's not a great sign. Now, you do have 6 scrubs for a Tristana. They might be able to catch Scout here. Xiaohao's find an angle. They spot him, but it's a little too late, I think.
Why is Scout there? That's pretty far up to go. Oh, that's
teleport,
why,
double teleport.
Double DP on him. Scout might just go down for this, but it will be answered. Or will it? Actually, maybe not. It's Zika's teleport got cancelled there by Xiaoxu. Or by Vicla, sorry. There's Jwei now engaged upon by Hung, but they don't really have that much damage. It's only Gala here to try and finish these health bars. Nice bit of play from RA.
Yeah, they get the 1 kill, and they do blow 2 big globals for it. It's not going to save the turret. There's going to be a Herald going straight into mid lane. They have no one in position to wave clear that one. Gala, who just used a satchel, doesn't even need that to kill the tower, I don't think. He'll be able to use that one soon after. They're teleporting onto Gala, but it's onto the pink ward, so they'll be able to see it in that fog of war. What? That's a teleporter. Scout? Dude!
Okay.
What are you doing?
Obviously,
Scout!
I think he thought the tower was going to be gone. It turns out it was him that was gone. Oh no! Xiaoxu ults and immediately gets stopped by the root caller. RA get a couple though. Scout just completely sprinted it.
What has he done? I've never said that. Like, we rarely have to kind of use this phrase because we kind of hold this in this top drawer. That TP sucked! what did you think was going to happen? What, realistically, you're teleporting into 3 people. You have to look at what's happening in that scene. That's the kind of thing where you click on the minimap. I don't know what the thought was. Even if the tower had stayed alive, had died rather, I feel like that play works out exactly the same way. And LNG, we were just saying, hey, you know, they could throw a lot of big leads. We've seen them do that before. This is egregious, though. Maybe he teleports and doesn't know where Vicla and Xiaoxu are, but even that, you don't want to teleport into melee range of a Nautilus. That's like the world's easiest engage.
I wonder if he thought Gala could finish the tower and... I don't know. That's all I've got.
This is beyond my understanding, Joe.
Good, but like, maybe he just saw Assum at the end of that last game and was like, anything you can do, I can do better. Decided to sprint it down the mid lane. Weird one from Scout. Really, really rough TP.
It was just his mental enrichment. It's just his mental enrichment time. It's like he's trying to expand his horizons, learn more about the game League of Legends. We finally come full circle.
He's limit testing. He's like, how fast will... Oh,
yeah.
There we go. Little pop-up. 500 gold so far from first strike from Gala. I just was wondering about that earlier, and I just saw a pop-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it scales up for the damage you do. So if you get really far ahead of the game, it scales up the amount of gold you get with it too. It just kind of allows you to snowball a bit more. Not nearly as much as it used to. Remember back in 21 Worlds, you'd have Talon just jumping on you for 80% of your HP, walking away, not finishing the kill, but walking away with like, you know, an extra 100 gold or so. That was fun.
I was going to say I miss those times, but I really don't miss Talon.
No, I don't
either,
actually.
Talon could just never be meta again, I'd really be okay with that. As an AD carry main, I would be more than okay.
But then you don't get it. So one of my favorite skins in the game is actually the Samson White Talon skin from Season 4. There's a really fun story behind that skin. Maybe we'll get some of that story time a bit later, though. Folks, there's a dragon being started right now. LNG, they want to stop the flank. Assum, what are you doing here?
Assum totally alone in the jungle. Hung just going to get the cleanse out of him for now. Zika wasn't quite able to get there in time. RA grouping up. Remember, they got the first 2 Drakes, so if they could get this one, it would be Soul Point, which does make things nice. Yeah, Ocean Soul versus Ziggs would be handy-dandy to have. It's a bit of a stalemate, isn't it? And in the meantime, Assum just can't even get access. He's completely denied.
Yeah, and Xiaoxu, you can see Daisy is spotting out Xiaoxu on the flank. If you can get the flash cannon into the backline, that could really be the game-changing fight. He is off vision again. Vicla's using this time to take down that tower. They can just take that and leave, but now Zika potentially can flank too with his own flash.
Are they going to be able to get in here? Xiaohao trying to surround.
The flag!
Xiaoxu onto 2. WeiWei the target, he's down. That'll be Drake as in goes Assum onto Gala as well. The Fedist member. Assum flashes the wall and gets the shut down. But in the meantime, the rest of LNG winning the top side of the fight and looking for Jwei as well. Senna's blade just a hair short, but it won't matter. Scout gets the kill. 2 for 2, but Drake for RA.
Yeah, and it's the shutdown on Gala. Who got that kill? It was one of Xiaohao or Assum. We'll have to track that one because that would have been at least some gold back in the Kaiser's pocket. That's good then. All right, that's important. So, all right, they get some gold back, and we continue to have this conversation about LNG and team fighting. We have this conversation about LNG and flanks. They know the flank is coming. It is the most obvious flank in the world. They have no vision across that part. They even checked it out with Gala. How they fall prey to this and stand and fight in the river is beyond me. I really think that LNG needs to return back to basics and figure out how to approach flanking team fights, because this is not the first time that RA have pulled a fast one on them like this. Yes, they do clean up some kills afterwards, but losing the Dragon and losing the fight to the Cannon in that such an obvious way, that's not a good sign from LNG.
Honestly, it doesn't even feel like Xiaoxu flanked them. It feels like LNG just walked closer while Xiaoxu was stood over that wall. Gala was throwing bombs at him, so they obviously knew he was there, but then just kind of didn't respond to that fact. Bit of a weird one, but either way, 6-6 on the scoreboard. LNG still pretty far ahead, it has to be said. Even with that fight going the other way, it's going to be down to that Ocean Soul. That is the linchpin now for RA.
So, what's the next phase of play? No Dragon for a little while. There's Baron up. Who has good Baron speed? I mean, Ziggs is okay at it. Has the Leandries. The Corki can also help. Ivan's not particularly good at killing Baron, but he's very good at turning off of it. So he can tank it with Daisy. You can use Daisy to control these choke points. RA need to be careful about that. But the Baron shouldn't get rushed too quickly if it does slip off the vision. They'll have themselves a decent window of time to respond if it comes through to it. Don't want to leave it too long, though. If Baron does go down, this game probably goes with it because of the pushing power of that Ziggs with the waves behind him. You're also waiting for Xiaoxu's flash to come back up. They don't really want to fight without that one, so perhaps RA want to close down the game. Just slow it down a little bit now until they have the tools to fight. Nope, they're just landing hooks.
Oh, what a hook. Scout caught in the pit. He might just go down here, but no, it's flipped on his head. Scout's still going. Flushes out of the pit now as Gala rejoins the gang. Hung setting it all up as Xiaohao finds himself alone. And in the meantime, Zika got a solo kill on Xiaoxu.
So, even the Kennen counterpick matchup into the top lane of the Jax doesn't work out on the bot side of the map. And suddenly, LNG, we were just saying, well, they might just be able to play around the Baron, but they should be able to force it that quickly. Doesn't matter anymore. They get the fight after RA kind of fight with their tools are down. They didn't have the Kennen. They didn't have the ability to close down that first pick. And the game is probably going to fall away from them at this point. It is a full team Baron with the Jax winning in the side lane, with Scout and Gala being able to shred through towers. RA, after having a great fight around the Dragon, can't match it again around the Baron.
It feels a little disappointing for RA, honestly, considering they won the last time these two teams clashed. And after that last game, they were ahead for most of it. And LNG have sort of sorted themselves out a bit in this series, it has to be said. And now in the Baron, it looked like Scout was caught. It looked like Scout was going to be the one that went down, but just instantly turned on its head. And we're seeing the kind of late game power of this Ivan.
Absolutely, and again, it's not a common pick in the LPL, but having the Redemption, the shields, it can help you just be a bit tankier on the people who are first targeted. Hung being the first person going in this time, that's a heck of a bomb.
I mean, they didn't even hit the CC. Like, that was only a slow, and it's still like 2/3 of his health off of the back of Gala's bombs. If the rockets from Corki and the bombs from Gala weren't enough, they've now got cannonballs from the minions as well. The siege can continue.
Xiaoxu doesn't have flash.
From Xiaoxu. What can he get done here?
He doesn't have flash still, and this is why I was saying around that last Baron, honestly, RA needed to chill out for a bit. Wait for Xiaoxu's flash to come back. He's going right back into the... What is he doing?
He just TP'd so he can recall in the enemy jungle.
Yeah, he's really going for distance traveled here or something, and Xiaoxu
Has he got
he's
the
not
new
even
boots?
recalling.
He's trying to get him upgraded.
I don't get it, man. Now, there is no way that LNG have wards right there, but he's not back at base. I mean, he can't defend the fight.
Hung's just like, I'm just going to send it. Just dives into the middle of 4 people with 0 follow-up, and it somehow is working out a route now. Lands and Zika behind enemy lines, jumps over to the rest of his team, and TP comes in. Supers.
He cancelled his recall again!
Xiaoxu, what are you doing, man? Get back to the base! It's exactly the same as Xiaohao on the Dragon last game. RA just in shambles in the late games here today. This has been, to be honest, this hasn't been a great series for either team, but LNG looking like the better of the two right now.
Xiaoxu has his flashback up now, but he can't use it because it feels like RA have just messed up their kind of resets and their angles to this fight. They're going to get themselves out of their base for the first time in a little while. But even with that, you know, you can have some teleports back onto the map from LNG. They're going to get the Solar Flare back, because it already is back. The only thing that's missing is the Mega Inferno bomb.
LNG have managed to throw fights before. It's certainly possible. Zika on the flank. Vicla the target now as he's in the pit alone. Jumps out, keeps himself safe. LNG, I mean, they've got a super minion bot. Do they just ignore the Drake and try and end the game?
Yeah, but the problem is, right now, they're actually quite clumped for Xiaoxu. Xiaoxu could potentially flash ult 4 of them, and that would be dangerous. They're going in now. They can't clump into the cannon.
Xiaoxu tries to move forward. Solar Flare onto him. The Hunt just engages onto him instead. Bomb across the rest of the team. That is Ocean Soul.
The game's
when
ending!
the TV comes out from Scout. This is what we talked about. And the solo laners just go for a kill on the Nexus instead. WeiWei cancelling recalls, keeping this going. LNG, forget the Drakes. They just won the Nexus.
Rare Adam, they are absolutely blown away in the late game by LNG. There are a lot of worries about LNG, and honestly, this series probably won't do away with all of them. It was still a bit of a mess. I think the team fights need to be looked at from both sides, but all the same, really important victory from LNG. Important that they get a 2-0 as well. That'll help them in terms of game score. This puts them on a pretty good trajectory to go towards top 2 in this group and to go out of this group in Group A, should the other results not have too many upsets involved in them.
Do you know the funniest thing to me?
Yeah.
That's 2 games in a row where RA traded a Drake for a game.
No!
Both
Don't
games
say it like
ended
that.
RA overforcing the Drake and losing the